Title: The 3 a.m. Visitor. In the quiet town of Ashford, a small cottage sat at the edge of the woods, where the trees were thick and the night was unnaturally dark. Emma had lived in that cottage for years, enjoying the solitude it provided, but something had changed recently. Strange noises in the night, whispers that seemed to float through the air, even when the windows were shut tight. One night, as the clock struck 3 a.m., Emma woke to a sound that made her blood run cold. The unmistakable sound of footsteps on the stairs. The cottage had no one living in it but her. She lay frozen, heart racing, trying to convince herself it was nothing, maybe the wind, maybe the house settling. But the footsteps were too deliberate, too slow. The stairs creaked as if someone heavy was climbing them, one step at a time. Her bedroom door, left ajar, creaked open slightly. Emma didn't dare move, didn't dare breathe. As she stared into the darkness of the hallway, the footsteps stopped at her door. Emma's breath caught in her throat. She could feel a presence, something dark standing just beyond her vision. Her body screamed to run, to hide, but she was paralyzed with fear. A rasping voice whispered from the other side of the door, barely audible but unmistakable. "I know you're awake." She could hear the sound of fingernails dragging across the wood, the same nails that had scratched at her walls the last few nights. But tonight was different. The voice sounded closer, now too close. Slowly, she reached for her phone, fingers trembling. She tried to call the police, but her phone screen was black. In that moment, she realized something chilling. The phone's battery had been drained to 0 hours ago, and it hadn't been plugged in. But more than that, the time on her phone read 3:03 a.m. It was always 3:03 a.m. Before she could react, the door creaked open. A tall figure stood there in the shadows, its form impossible to make out. It was wearing a hooded cloak, and its eyes were just faint glimmers of pale light, pinpricks in the darkness. The voice that had whispered her name now filled the room. No longer a whisper, but a low growl. "You're not alone, Emma." She opened her mouth to scream, but nothing came out. The figure took a slow step forward, and the air grew ice cold, so cold it burned. The creature smiled, showing teeth far too sharp for any human to possess. "I've been waiting for you," it said. And then, as the clock struck 3:04 a.m., Emma's world went black. The next morning, the cottage was still. There was no sign of Emma, no sign of a struggle. But the whispers, they were still there. They echoed in the walls, soft and constant. And they had one message: "We're waiting." Some say Emma's soul was taken, trapped in the house by whatever dark force lurked there. The end follow for part 2.
Donating to a subscription could be you.